understanding business value is obviously critical for any FinOps platform. We have a couple areas in our system where we're supporting that. Um, let's start out with our business case capabilities. We can create business cases in our system to manage and plan out things like re-architecting a system or creating new workloads. So in this case, we have created two variants of that business case. We got the digital document storage that we can create on AWS, or we have one that we can create in Azure. Let's just look into the Azure one quickly. So from a business value perspective, we're not only looking at spend, but we're also looking at understanding why we're doing this and what are our assumptions around it. So we're doing this because we're moving this from an on-prem solution, right? So we want to increase our uptime with a target of 4 nines. We want to reduce our support cases. We assume a million requests per month on this platform as a usage, because obviously different usage, different cost. And overall, we're looking for my forecasting variance for this from 4%. That would make us feel good. From a spend perspective, we have two things that we've done. We have loaded a estimate from an Azure cloud estimator, and we've ingested it. And as we're loading it in, what we're also doing is we're normalizing it against FinOps. So it's standardized from a service category, service name perspective. But we also have, in addition to that, we've also normalized against the TVM taxonomy that we use to start getting more overview of our spend, even beyond just the cloud spend. So this is all cloud spend, and we have extrapolated the spend out over the lifetime of the business case. So there's a bit more cost that we get. That it's pretty standard, stable cost over the lifetime. In addition to that, we have loaded in some spend that we think we need to do outside of the cloud to actually get this across the line. So there's some internal labor costs, salaries for application support. We have some networking, telecom equipment, and some licensing costs as well, all planned out on a monthly basis on a detailed view. Going back to the high-level view, right? By doing this, by normalizing it against focus and by normalizing it at TPM taxonomy, this becomes now comparable. So if we go back to our original two business cases that we had in place, we can now have a look at both of them at the same time and compare them. And we're not comparing apples with oranges anymore. We're now comparing at a level where they're actually comparable. So we can look at storage and compare it. We can look at applications cost, network cost. From a cost pool perspective, obviously we have our outside services, which is our cloud cost mostly, but it can also be as a party provider. And we can see the different costs, how they're looking like. Which vendors are we using? AWS Azure, but then also some other vendors in the mix. And what are from a services perspective, we got our Amazon S3 on the one side, we got a Microsoft storage on the other side. Again, aligned to service categories from FinOps focus as well. So now that I have all of this, what I can do is I can make a decision that I want to go ahead with one of the two, right? And now that I've done that, the full power of YäRKEN comes into play, because now I can compare the cost of my estimate with the actual spend against that solution offering that aligns with that business case. So we get our trend on an ongoing basis from a spend perspective accumulated. We get it broken down, again, normalized against TBM, against focus. We get the individual towers where the spend sits, and we can also see the vendors where we're seeing. So we're seeing now if we estimated that much spend, we're actually spending a little bit less. Oh, that's interesting. So why are we spending less? Well, maybe it's got to do with the usage, right? So let's drill into the usage here and have a look what's happening. Right, here we see it. In August, our usage is much less than what we anticipated. We expected 1 million requests, but it was only 750,000. That had a direct impact on the spend that we had months on months, and therefore we're running below. but we're seeing also now that the usage is higher than we expected, and the cost is also going higher. So overall, we're going to come out much probably higher than we thought. But no panic here. We can actually now, because we have all the data in place, we can have a good conversation around that. What is the root cause of that blowout? Right? It's actually not that we estimated wrong. Well, we estimated wrong on the usage side, but not on the cost side. So there's a reason. So higher usage, more cost, more value generated. And I can also look at other things, not just the usage, but I can also look like it against my other KPIs that I was looking at to achieve if I'm tracking. And so when I have a 5-year business case, it's pretty good to be able to look back and to understand why we did something and how it has been progressing and are we achieving the things that we're looking for. Things like that could also be done for any other metrics that we're interested in. I just loaded in some basic ones here, but you could also baseline that with your revenue or other costs or benefits that you're getting out of the application.